Welcome, engineers. My name's Travis IQ, and today we're talking rugs. Rugs? Rug pulls. Rug pulls? Scams! Like this one right here. Scams is what we're talking about. How to avoid them, what to look for, and a couple that we've seen recently. Yikes. Let's get to it. Join me in the void as we discuss rug pulls, or more commonly known as rugs. Rug pull, or sometimes just known as a rug, right? What is a rug pull? A rug pull is when a project steals money from its users or from its participants. How can projects steal money? In the case of, let's say, decentralized finance or tokens and things like this, what will often be the case is you deposit, or you buy the token, or you deposit the token in a smart contract, right? And then the project developers actually have like a backdoor in the code and then pull all of the funds out. This is not the same thing as, let's say, something like an NFT project. And this is what we're talking about here. So when you rug pull an NFT project traditionally, right, what happens is you have a day of mint. What's very common, at least, is you have a day of mint. You've got a little mint button. And when you connect your wallet, right, what the smart contract does instead of minting one, oftentimes will drain funds. And sometimes you can see this, most of the time you can see this in, let's say, like a Phantom wallet, when it will tell you what the contract execution, what the nature of the contract execution is. It will tell you that it's, right, going to charge you 100,000 Sol, for example. This is what happened in the case of Solcans, and we'll see that in a second. And then it'll just charge, right, a maximum number of whatever Sol you have. And so that's what happened in the case of the Solana project Solcans, right? People had their Solana drained, right, and didn't receive anything. That's a rug pull. So there is a slight difference that we should recognize, that there's a difference between a rug pull and a cash grab. Both are kind of scammy, right? A rug pull is a straight scam, but a cash grab is kind of scammy as well. But a cash grab is when you actually get compensated something for a project, right? On a mint, it's just something that's lame, and the project value goes to zero, and the developers stop participating in the community, right? So you mint something, you get an NFT, some sort of weird ball thing, right? And then it just has no value later, and the devs don't participate, right? That's a cash grab, and that's annoying, and you should definitely look out for these things, but it's not the same as a rug pull, right? A straight rug pull is when the contract is designed specifically to pull money from your account, or, right, give you literally nothing for the value. There have been some rug pulls where people have received just like pictures of emojis as well, and those would be considered rug pulls as well, because they're literally doing nothing. Okay, so there's your rug pull definition, the difference between a rug pull and a cash grab. What are we looking out for here? So the other thing is right, you see a lot of people talking about doing your own research, do your own research into projects and things that you would want to mint. And then what are you looking out for as signs that this is actually not a legitimate project? A couple of signs would be large follower accounts with low engagement in short periods of time. Large followers, low engagement on social media and Discord specifically. So by social media, I really mean Twitter and Discord are kind of the primary places where this would be done, where you're engaging with your community. Large followers, low engagement, and usually done over a short period of time, usually, right? That's not always the case, right? So these are just indicators. Short period of time of existence, for example. Oftentimes you'll see this specifically in Discord, where you'll have like huge Discord followings. So you have like a Twitter, so low Twitter followings, big Discord, right? So let's say 2K Twitter followers and 15,000 folks in the Discord, right? That's sometimes an indicator of bots being paid for in a Discord, trying to convince you that the project is legitimate, so that you then go and bought a NFT from this project, right? Okay, so looking at these types of things, oftentimes if a decently active Twitter member in the Sol community is a part of the project, right, that means it's likely more legitimate, but not always the case either. So these are the risks that you run. And to be frank, this is a small niche community, budding and growing, right? So that's the place that you would target as scammers, because these people are early adopters. They're likely to do things that are a little bit more fringe, which means that they're more likely to get scammed than someone who's just not participating in these ecosystems at all and using PayPal to buy Nike shoes instead of trying to buy NFTs on some mixed layer one or some offshoot layer one like Solana. How to avoid or limit the likelihood. So first of all, look for and do your own research. But there's also some technical implementations that you can do, right? So we always talk about this, and you've actually seen this in a previous video. Use burner wallets. They're called burner wallets. And what that means is just add an additional wallet, let's say to something like the Phantom wallet that you traditionally use, and just put only enough funds to mint. So if the mint were 0.35, for example, right? And how much SOL would you put in your wallet? 0.36, because you're going to need some to facilitate a transaction as well. So 0.36 SOL, for example. Or if you wanted to mint 2.0.7 and change SOL, right? And now, even if you do run into this scenario here where you think it's an interesting project, you like the art, and then it turns out to be a scam, yes, you are SOL, but that also, SOL, that's funny, SOL, but you end up losing a minimal amount. And as a risk taker in a nascent industry like this, you are opening yourself up to that by doing this. And we'll see that from people who've been involved in the space for a while that have actually been scammed and rug pulled. These things happen. Finally, last but not least, why? Why are these things happening? Right? Why rug on Solana? Why is it so common? And the answer is, I think it's actually a function of the technology, right? So Solana is an easy blockchain to spin up NFTs. The transactions per second are high and the fees are low, so people are utilizing it. Solana and the Solana dev team have built out some great tools with Metaplex and other utilities built into Metaplex to mint NFTs. So it's easy. So Solana NFT minting is easy. Fees are low, which means that anybody can just mint an NFT, throw it out there, and try and rug pull someone. It makes it a little bit easier. That and the fact that I pointed out a little bit earlier that it's a nascent industry, a budding space in an offshoot layer one like Solana. So there are people who are more willing to take a risk than in, let's say, more established communities. Okay. So why is this on my mind then? It's on my mind because recently there have been a couple of rugs in the Solana NFT marketplace. One of them was brought to my attention by Big Brain. This is his tweet here of Solana cans that ended up being a rug pull. Big Brain's a pretty good resource for this type of stuff for the most part. I'll link his Twitter in the show notes below. Another one at the same time, basically back to back, which is really why we're doing this, was Panda Pals. And Panda Pals is another one. This was brought to my attention by Solana NFT Radar. I'll link their Twitter handle in the show notes below as well. And so both of these projects were scamming users over the last couple of days and kind of brought this idea to the forefront. Again, as it always is every so often, right? That being said, we should also give some credit to some of the older projects that identified rug pulls as well, or that were identified as rug pulls. Probably one of the earliest ones in the Solana space was a 17-year-old artist that rug pulled for 100 and maybe 200 grand worth of Solana, probably more now, but at the time that's what it was worth. And interestingly enough, Big Brain actually got caught up in this one, right? He actually minted this and then was rugged. So even those with the best intentions and some of the best radar for this type of stuff can get rugged as well. So just be aware. This one was several months ago. And then a month after that was another giant NFT rug, which actually this article reported as one of the biggest NFT rugs in history. I'm not sure if that really holds water now, but it was at the time, and it was like $2 million for the SOL at the time, which is probably a little bit more in SOL now as well. So, and this was Baller Ape Club. So I'll link all this stuff in the show notes as well. So we have old rug pulls that were big, people that I am suggesting to look to that actually got caught up in those rug pulls. We had a few rug pulls that actually occurred just recently that I wanted to identify. And then we talked a little bit about why and what happens in these nascent marketplaces. So in summary, rug pulls happen. Rug pulls happen. Do your own research. Be prepared. And practice good minting hygiene. How about that? Mint hygiene. As is always the case, engineer, break stuff, have fun. We'll see you next time. Let's go.